Hello and welcome to AntLab Games. I am your host, Anthony.
And I'm Francis. And today we're very seriously
going to cover 10
Another
games we
fantastic
found
top 10.
in our fridge.
Seriously, we might as well have found these games in our fridge.
Yes.
So, our life has been crazy, to say the least. House has been a little messy.
So we didn't technically find them in our fridge, but they might as well have been in our fridge because we've done a very poor job of getting to these games.
We have, yeah. They need some love.
Yeah, they need love. So these are 10 games that we have in our possession that we want to do playthrough reviews for. We just haven't been able to get them to the table, but they are on our list. They are on our to-hit list.
Right, to-play list.
Hit list. It's the hit list. And get them done.
They're the greatest hits.
Well, they will be our greatest hits. So we'll get through it. It's 10 games. There are more than these 10.
Yeah, again, not exclusive, but I think that this is...
We don't have that big of a refrigerator. Yeah. So if they were in our fridge, there'd only be 10.
Yeah.
So number one, and this is in no particular order whatsoever. Yeah. This is just 10 games that we have that we've been trying to get to. So the first game on our list is, wow.
We did nothing in 2019.
We really did a poor job of 2019, 2020.
Yeah, we did.
We really... Yeah, it was pretty. Those are dark times. Dark times. So the one game to start the list is from 2019. Yes. It is called Sierra West.
Yeah.
You look so crazy sad. Look, this is designed by Johnny Pack, published by Board and Dice. Right. Sierra West is 1 to 4 player game. Plays in about 40 to 60 minutes. We played this game a number of times.
We did.
And
then never filmed it.
And never filmed it, but really enjoyed the plays.
Yeah, it was really, really fun.
Remember, it's that game where you've got your miners.
You're building up.
It's got it's got a lot going on. We'll say that, right? So you basically have this mountain built of cards, right? They're overlapping, and you're going to think of it as in a Seven Wonders style, right? They're overlapping. So you're going to start flipping them as you move like your little hiker up the mountain, and you'll be drafting those cards into your hand. So you're deck building, right? Mm-hmm. And then in front of you, you've got cards that you've got slotted into like this little board that's going to reveal certain symbols that'll be used to move your guy along like his worker placement sort of actions.
Yeah. And depending on how you manipulate your card into the little card holder tableau.
Yeah, it looks like Legrand.
Yeah, basically. it'll reveal certain symbols that'll allow you to do certain Sierra West mountainy kind of things.
Yes. Yeah, because you're like getting gold, you're running away from bears, you're getting all different wood and stone, and you're upgrading things, a la Euro type resource gathering and converting them.
It's a really interesting way to get your resources and use them. To get
and you got like 2 workers, and like one of them can do a certain trail A, one goes down trail B, and you're doing them both, and in what order you choose makes a difference, and so it's like really cool little puzzle every round.
Yeah.
Really neat game, I got to tell you.
It was, it was really fun, and you will see how fun it is when we do a playthrough.
When we do a playthrough, yeah. So it is. What's killer about this game though is that. And what kind of baffled me and why I was like, how are we going to do it? Because you've got the vanilla game. And then it has like 4 different expansions that come with it. One where you like add fishing into it. One where you add like gold mining into it. And it adds all these additional components and cards, replace them. Like they have this, the basic game is like going for apples. Right. And that's like sort of the bonus resource for the game.
Exactly.
Right. And then you change it up and all of a sudden it's fish. And then it's this other it's so crazy.
So it's
that
like
all
how do
this...
we want to showcase this in a way that like explains what kind of experience you're gonna get out of it.
Correct. So it's one that's on our radar to do because it's one that we really, really enjoyed. Definitely check it out. It's a cool game and it's really sad that we haven't gotten to this yet.
Yeah.
All right. Number 2 on the list, another one from this year. Like that year was just.
Well, I'm blaming the baby.
2019 was a bad year for us.
Because a lot of these were actually PAX, Gen Con or PAX games that we got in like 2019, I think. But in any case.
So this is one we picked up at a con.
Yeah.
Wasn't really sure how I was going to feel about this one.
Right. But you love this game.
I don't know why I really enjoyed it so much.
Yeah.
And we played it a couple times, and I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool. I dig it. It came out 2019. It is designed by Wolfgang Warsch, published by Schmidt-Spiel.
Yes.
I don't know. There's like 1,000 publishers on here, so
Right.
I don't know which one is relevant. But in any case, the game is called. Yeah, it's right on the back.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
It's
North Star.
Games.
Oh, North Star Games. Yeah, nice.
Taverns of Tiefenthal.
Taverns of Tiefenthal. It's been hovering, and now we've actually moved a lot of the games that we want to get to here. We have some upstairs, and they're just all and some in the fridge.
And
quite honestly,
everywhere.
2 to 4 players, 60 minutes, and it is a bar tavern building game.
Right. Yeah.
But
and
like,
and I think that's what like turned me off about it a little bit. I was like, really? Don't like. Again, it's kind of a rondel, right?
Yeah.
Style thing.
Well,
is it?
No. This one was with cards.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, no, there's no rondel.
You know what I'm thinking of? And
this was dice.
I was thinking this was going to be like Heaven and Ale.
Oh yes.
Which is what I was
Because
thinking.
we had played. Yes, that one was.
Because we had kind of like played. We played
that at a con, yeah.
And it's got this very similar, like, to me anyway, like art
It
style,
does. The art's kind of close.
So
cartoony.
I didn't know what kind of. I mean, I thought it was just going to kind of be like the same.
Yeah, and I did too. And I was like, I was kind of lukewarm on Heaven and Ale, to be honest.
Yeah.
And this one is just more what I was hoping to have. It's straight up running a tavern.
Yes.
Like dumbed down. It's got like.
Well, and you're getting like your workers.
You've got workers come in. You can hire more serving people. You can hire more dishwashers, and you kind of like build onto your tavern. Add more tables for your patrons.
It's a tableau builder.
Yeah, it is really. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Like it was really just the way the cards all slot in, and it's really up to you how you want to expand your tavern. And everybody's is a little bit different towards the end. And I thought it was really cool. It was kind of I don't know. The art was catchy for me.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it more than Heaven and Ale.
Yeah, I did too. I was pleasantly surprised with it, not to give too much of our like review away. But yeah, I am very excited to get this one back to the table and do it.
All right, yeah,
just have an excuse to play it again.
I don't want to get too much into reviews of how we felt, but of course you're going to gush about this one. So it's just
so the next one that we're very excited about.
This is an older
it's actually
game.
an older game.
2016.
And I know how you feel about putting older games on top 10s, but we like to break the mold, and I don't really care. So
we don't like to be so samey.
I'm not. Yeah, whatever. Just because it's an
we don't
old,
try to keep up with
game.
the Joneses on this channel.
The next game is Yokohama.
Oh, nice.
I love this game. This is probably one of my favorite games.
It is.
And it's
she
not
really
one
likes this one.
that I see getting a lot of love anymore, and so that's why I want to do I want to do a review of it. I want to do a playthrough. If again, not for any other reason other than a really good excuse to play it again.
To play it again. Yeah.
We did, I think, play this one. We might have actually played this one last year, or maybe it was the year before. I don't remember.
It was last year.
But it was one that we pulled out and played with a friend pre-COVID.
Yeah.
One of our last pre-COVID games
yeah.
that we played.
I think we were even wearing masks at that time, right?
Were we?
No. I don't even remember.
But we really, really enjoyed this one. And basically, in Yokohama, you are on a Japanese port, I guess. It's kind of like a port kind of game.
Yeah.
But you have these tiles that indicate the different sections of the port where you're doing certain kinds of actions, and they could be like getting resources or sending your workers around.
Yeah, it's like different facilities on the port, like the bank or the fishery.
Yeah. And it's very standard, like I won't say Euro, but like it's an economic game where you're producing resources, you're selling them, you're filling contracts, and that's all like in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, you're selling import-export contracts. Exactly. You're basically running a company.
You are. You're running a company in a different way than a lot of other games.
Yeah.
And what I liked about this one too is the way that every time you play it, it's going to be a little bit different, because depending on who you're playing with, their worker might be on a spot, and it's not like you can't go to that spot, but it's going to cost you to traverse through a tile where another person has their worker. So it sort of forces you to find like the best way to get the resource that you need that's not going to cost you the most money.
The best route, and you're making a route with your workers. It's really interesting.
It is. Yeah, because if you have workers on a tile, then you can traverse
through
tile.
And
to other tiles.
Yeah, it's really
that
interesting.
So it's just got some really cool mechanics that I have not seen in any other games. For everything that's going on in the game, if you look at the table, it looks like there's a lot going on, but it's actually very well organized. So I appreciate the art. It's very, very pretty.
Yeah.
I love what's going on, and most importantly, I love how it scales with 2 players. We've played this with 2. We've played it with 3.
Yep.
I don't think we've played it with more than 3.
No. But you add more.
You add more
tiles.
boards, so it's like there's just more game to enjoy with more people.
Players. Yeah, it's really good.
And I just love this game.
You do.
I
so
do.
Yokohama.
We're gonna have an old.
Designed by Hisashi Hayashi, published by Tasty Minstrel.
Yep. Yeah.
So really good one. Yeah, that's high on our list. This one.
So
this one we picked us 2019.
Of course it was.
We played this at PAX.
We did. Yeah, we actually played this with friends of ours.
Yep.
Friends and fans.
And we always try to hook up with them at PAX and play a game.
Yeah.
And this year's was and they always show us a new game.
They do.
And this year's was the Magnificent.
Right.
And you really like this one.
I enjoyed this one too. See, where your thing is like space and like, I don't know, some kind of historical stuff. Fantasy.
Yeah.
I just like magic.
You do. You like
and
anything magic and business. So maybe if they made a magic business game, that would be
where you have to run your magician company.
Yeah, that you'd be like
kind of like I don't know, Trickerion.
You'd be over the moon, I tell you, if there was stock.
If there was stocks involved, stocks to watch.
Do you have stocks to watch? All right. Anyway. So this was designed by Eilif Svensson and Christian Amundsen Ostby, published by Aporta Games.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Is that who the U.S. publisher was?
Yes, I think it was. I don't know who the U.S. publisher was. This is one that we got at PAX that was actually an Essen release, I believe. And they had a small booth at PAX where you could buy Essen releases. So I don't know who published this, to be honest with you, in the U.S. Or if you can even get it.
So this is it right here.
Yeah.
This is Aporta Games.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is it. They all had different unique covers.
They did, which was really cool. And anyway, in this game, you are a magician. I think you're all like vying for like the new magician spot, and you're doing these shows to kind of audition for top magician, what have you. So you're collecting resources to perform certain kinds of tricks
basically,
and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then going and actually doing a performance of those tricks. Not in any kind of way that even closely resembles Trickerion.
It's a dice game, really.
It is. Yeah.
And it's really, a lot of it's kind of abstract.
It is very abstract.
And the art's very dark.
It is, and that would probably be my one, not like criticism, but criticism, I guess you could say.
You could say it's a criticism,
It's just that the art is very dark, and even playing it in the PAX hall, which is like bright fluorescent lights and stuff.
Yeah, like you were really looking at it.
You really had to like.
I needed to get my readers out, and it was just like...
You would have to now.
Okay, I think this is that. Yeah, so it was a little tough on the eyes.
A little tough
to
see.
But it was an interesting game. That was the only time we played it. We have it. We are definitely going to do another play and then get this on film at some point. Don't want to go too much more into
I won't go into
our thoughts on it, but really interesting. Go check it out, The Magnificent 2019.
Yep.
All right, next game we've had for a little while now.
A long time.
This is a 2018 game that you're all probably very familiar with, a Rondel.
Yes.
On its own right, Teotihuacan, City of the Gods. So this is definitely late to the party on this one.
Right, NSKN.
And NSKN, Board and Dice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So they put this out and an expansion for it. We have the expansion as well, so we definitely want to play through.
And I think that might have been actually why we waited.
We waited,
on this one,
because of the expansion.
We wanted to make sure we did it with the expansion. And I don't know why we never got around to filming.
I think there's always something, like we typically get a game ready, we get it prepped up, and then something happens where we have to pack it up.
Right.
We moved a couple times in the last 2 years, 3 years with COVID, and just so much has gone on. like when we get into a point like that, if there's a game that comes up that has an actual time deadline,
it takes priority.
It takes priority, and we get that out, and then all the games fall to the wayside, and it's just you get caught in this rut.
And I think that we did not to get off topic, but I know you guys don't mind hearing any of this. We got, I think like 2018, I think, and most of 2019, we really did end up getting a lot more Kickstarters out than we. I don't want to say than we would have liked to, because we would love to play all of the games and do all of the reviews on all of the things. But we ended up with like a lot of Kickstarters that we were kind of like, we had to start saying no to a lot of these requests.
We
thought we were saying no to a lot of requests, and then we looked back and we were like, we're not saying no to enough of these.
This year, recently, we've been just not even. Unfortunately, we're not even responding to a lot of the emails. Yeah. We get like 3 or 4 emails a week.
I say we probably get more than that.
And some weeks we get more than that about, hey, check this Kickstarter out. Can you do a review on that? And it's just like we cannot even get through our published games.
Right.
We make exceptions for publishers that we've worked with in the past and we have a relationship with. They'll jump to the front of the queue.
Right.
Depending on our relationship, right? That's the best we can do.
Right.
We just can't do it all. There's a lot.
There's limited time.
Look, there's a lot of reviewers out there who are hungry to do this stuff.
Yeah.
They're more than welcome to it.
Right.
Right. So there's definitely no shortage of YouTubers these days.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
in any case, I digress.
Said, unfortunately, things like this get kind of pushed, and we're not happy with that.
We're not happy.
Which is why we're trying to prioritize.
We're putting our foot down, and we're going to get this stuff done. So Teotihuacan, it's a dice game. It's a rondel. Your dice are your workers. They've got a certain pip count. They sort of level up as the game goes, and you take all. There's like 8 different stations they go to take different actions. There's this pyramid you're building in the middle with tiles and symbols. It's really cool. You probably already know about this. Is a two-year-old game that was very popular.
Yeah.
So without going into too much more detail, stay tuned for the playthrough. We'll get to it. We're not going to go too much into reviews territory here.
Yeah.
But we've got a couple more to get through.
Okay.
Quite a few to get through, actually.
Yeah.
All right. So.
And it is.
Yeah. So this is what number are we on here? Actually,
I don't even know.
We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're on number 6.
Okay.
So we actually
played
this today. We played about a quarter of a game, maybe.
Yeah.
But we can talk pretty openly about how we feel about this at this point, because
this is one of our top
well,
games
we'll say the
shelf.
original version of this game is definitely in our top 5.
Yeah.
All-time favorite games, right? Yeah. And the game is Rococo.
Yeah.
We have the Rococo Deluxe Edition, which throws in all the expansions, which we've never played.
Yeah.
So we're trying to work through that and just get a good feeling for that, right? So this is designed by Matthias Kramer, Stephen Miles, Lewis Miles, Eno Tool Art, Eagle Griffin Games published it.
Yeah.
Massive box. I mean, it looks like a Lacerda game in the box, right?
It is. Well, and again, it's Eagle Griffin.
Yeah,
I think
so it's
they're pretty consistent.
Yeah, their production value is over the chart, off the charts, over the moon. They're just ridiculous. They hit this one out of the park.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Unbelievable. Rococo is. I mean, if you're a sucker for theme, you'll love this one, right?
And it's funny because it's a dress.
It's a French dressmaking and suit making game to outfit people for the King's Ball.
Right.
And that's what you're doing. You're buying, and you're actually buying materials to make outfits.
Yeah.
You're tailors.
Right. And the thing is, at its core, it's a I want to say like a little bit of set collection. It's like a resource gathering order
your workers are cards.
Game.
It's a worker placement. You're playing your card as a worker.
You're playing your cards as workers.
Taking actions.
You're grabbing resources, which are like your textiles and your buttons, or not buttons.
Your thread, your silks, your bolts of cloth.
Right, and then you're kind of filling orders, which are your dress kind of patterns that are coming
dress
through
colors,
on offer.
yeah.
And
which is your set.
Are going to require certain things, so a certain combination of the materials that you've been getting. So you can choose then to either sell the dress, or you're going to rent it out, and that's going to give you either victory points or or something else, on the board, or just straight up cash.
Get money because you need the money to buy materials to make more dresses.
And then you have even like some area control because you're trying to monopolize parts of the board and have.
You want to get your dresses
out there.
Need to be at that fireworks spectacular at the end of the night because that's where the points are. If this doesn't sound right up your alley, then I don't know what is.
Yeah.
So we do love this game. Absolutely love it. It is pretty. We won't talk anymore. We won't talk anymore about it. We're this playthrough's coming real soon, actually.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get to it's 1 to 5 players. So there's solo mode, which is huge. Yeah. But I think that about covers Rococo Deluxe Edition. It's coming soon. Next one we have upstairs, and this is actually a follow-up to a game we did a while back.
It is, yes. Interesting game.
So, if you all recall, there was a theme park card game that came out a while back.
Back a few years ago.
Years ago.
Like olden days.
Right? That was kind of take thatty.
Yeah.
Right? So much so that they called it Unfair.
I see what you did there.
You see that?
Yeah.
So, they're back. Joel Finch, Good Games Publishing, is back to make a new theme park game called Funfair.
Yes.
Where it's not so take thatty. At least that's what we believe.
Yes.
We know nothing more than what we've just told you. We have the game.
Right.
We haven't opened and played it yet.
Right.
That's in our queue.
Yeah. That said, I'm very excited because I actually really enjoyed Unfair, and I did not find it to be as take-thatty. However, we always opted to not play with the very take-thatty parks either.
Themes, yes. There were, out of like the 5 themes, there were 2 that were really bad.
Yeah.
There were the 2 we used were not so bad. There were some take-that cards, but if you're not using the take-that abilities, then you're not really playing the game the way it was designed, right? Yeah. So this one was designed from what we've been told to not be take-thatty. So if that's the case, it should be everything we hoped the original was. Right? So that's it.
All right.
Next one.
The next game is a game designed by Fran Diaz, published by DeVere, and this game is Polis.
Polis. So Polis is a reprint.
Yes.
From another version called Polis.
Right.
Years ago.
Many years ago.
That we've never played. So this is kind of fresh for us. So we definitely, I took it out, read the rules, looked at the components, punched it, obviously. And it is basically a 2-player game where one player, it's in Greece.
One of those,
One player is controlling Athens and one player is controlling Sparta.
Right.
And this is kind of really, I guess, ties in well for me, considering I recently beat Assassin's Creed Origins. Was it not Origins?
No.
The one in Greece, obviously.
Yeah. It was Origins.
Was it Origins? No, I thought Origins was the one in Egypt.
I don't know.
In any case,
there was
Odyssey.
Barnabas.
It was Odyssey.
Yeah, it was Odyssey.
Yes. So that one with Barnabas. So I had beaten that one. So it was that whole game is about Sparta versus Athens, right? So this game is Sparta versus Athens, and it's really area control. You move armies in and out. You're getting resources. And
and we've really kind of enjoyed these.
Made for 2, right?
2-player historical kind of one group versus another group kind of games. And we had just picked up another one that was a similar. Europe Divided. Remember we played?
Yeah, that's kind of like a super light version of
Twilight Struggle.
Like super light version of that.
But Twilight Struggle is another one. So like we do tend to like these.
Yeah, this one is definitely not in that vein. This one's more manipulating armies. You've got like a ton of actions you can do. You can move troops. You can build troops. You can get resources, all sorts of stuff. So definitely interested in seeing how this goes. And getting a video out for you all.
Yes, it's coming.
So that's Polis. Here we go.
Another one. It's like all these games made little baby games.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. So if games had babies, so if Pipeline had a baby,
right? What would it be?
It would be Curious Cargo.
It even comes in a little baby box.
Yes, this is a 2020 game. Capstone. We have this one. It's 2-player only. It is basically a really small version pipeline tiles, but that's kind of where it ends.
Yeah, it doesn't say it's not a miniature version of pipeline.
No,
and
not at all.
I kind of was expecting it to be a sort of pipeline type of game, maybe just a 2-player experience, but it's not at all. At all.
No. It's really neat.
Very cool.
In that and we won't go too much into what it is. It's just literally you've got a factory, and you've got 2 outputs. One side of the board is loading stuff onto trucks. The other side of the board is unloading stuff from trucks.
Right.
Goods, they're just generic goods. So you're building pipes out of your machines, colored pipes, either red or blue, to either ship red and blue goods or to take in red and blue goods.
Right.
And both ways will get you points, but you can only do so many things. And then you're manipulating the trucks.
But the cool thing about it is that as a 2-player game, the trucks are actually moving from your player board to your opponent's player board.
Correct.
So like as I am loading things onto my truck, it takes off and then goes to your unloading side of your board. So it's kind of neat like how that's structured, because the way that you get points, you really have to think about, how to run your pipes so that you're maximizing what your opponent is actually doing.
Exactly.
So a lot of fun. Can't wait to get to
designed by Ryan Courtney, the person who designed
Pipeline.
Yeah. So obviously it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So that is Curious Cargo, and the final game is also a capstone game. And this is one that we were told is kind of Take Thatty, actually. But we didn't think it was. And I think the way that this game could be Take Thatty is if you are intentionally taking actions that somebody else needs.
Yeah, only if you're being nasty, then
you can any game, but this one really allows for that, to really stomp on somebody's dreams, and that
to
always
stomp
hurts.
on their Crystal Palace.
On their Crystal Palace, right? So the game is Crystal Palace. What did you think about this one, by the way?
I really enjoyed this.
Yeah,
I liked
2019
it. Really
game,
cool
another
theme.
one in that lot.
Really cool art.
Yeah.
And in this one, this is kind of like that World's Fair type of, not type of.
It is World's Fair in London.
It is the World's Fair environment. So you are designing these like inventions, I guess, and it's a lot of fun. I can't.
It's a dice for action game. There's a bunch of these because there's different stations that you send your dice to, and depending on the pip count, certain actions require a certain range of pips, right? And you'll send your workers over there to do certain things. But throughout the game, you're collecting inventors and then inventions,
right?
And you're trying to get those inventors out because that's what's scoring you these points.
And it's kind of like, I mean, it's not really set collection, but it kind of is, because you have certain types of, like, each invention is a type of invention, and if you do many types of one type of invention, then you'll get additional points at the end of the game. If you match the inventor with the invention, you get extra points.
It makes
for
it
that
easier
invention.
to do the invention. There's a lot of really neat synergies between the inventions and the inventors.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it.
It's just a really pretty game for one. There's a lot going on. The colors really pop in this game. And there's just a lot of cool different ways that you can sort of take actions and score points, right? You're not all stuck at doing the same thing, which I think is where you can kind of really mess with somebody, because if I know she's going for a certain invention, I can scoop that invention up myself.
Yeah. Well, and I think the dice locations as well.
That's where
because
it's tough.
the way that you're taking your actions in this game is by placing dice, and you're sort of using your dice to, I don't want to say bet, but only a certain number of players are going to be able to take those actions, and it's going to be based on your dice count, and the
high pip goes first.
This will make a lot more sense once we play the game.
Yeah.
But you are assigning your dice a pip count based on where you want to go, and your hope to be able to take the number one spot in that action slot. The catch is that you actually have to pay for the pip counts. So you may be betting to go to a location thinking that other people want to go there, so you're going to make that dice pip count of 5, and then like nobody else goes there anyway, so you've just wasted a lot of money trying to do something, and then you might send out another die to another location and never get to take that action.
Right, because you can send out all high dice.
Right.
You just got to pay for it.
Exactly.
And it could be extremely expensive.
Right. Yeah. So it's a lot of like watching what other people are doing, and I think that's also where some of like the take thatiness can come out, because you could spend your whole time ruining other people's plans, not working on anything for yourself, and like I don't know if you could win that way, but but you could make it a really not very nice experience.
Yeah, some people would think that's a lot of fun.
But this is another one. I feel like we had this set out on the table because I remember trying to get it to all fit, because it's like you have like different cards as your locations, but they're kind of like taking up a lot of space. But we had to take it down for some reason.
This is sort of our commitment to getting to these games. We're putting it out there now. So now you know what's in our queue.
Right.
And we'll get it done. So these are 10 games that we found in our fridge.
Right. All right. Well, we hope you enjoyed.
Yep. So we'll see you next time.
Okay. See ya.